Hello, welcome back again. So this is my first video in a series of videos that I am going to make over the month of April and possibly a little bit into May. I have no idea where this year's going. And I want to talk about, I don't really know what you would title it, generating ideas, getting ideas for stories, things like that. Basically, I want to talk about the ideas part of writing, because without the ideas, what do you have? So, and it's one of those popular topics. You know, if you talk to anyone and tell them you're a writer, one thing people will always ask is, where do you get your ideas from? I love Stephen King's answers to this, where he talks about he gets them from the idea store, or why would I tell you that? Because you're going to go and steal them. Sorry, something keeps kicking the table. So I wanted to talk about getting ideas for stories, because it's something we think we struggle with, but we probably don't. It's kind of like a little bit of writer's block, and writer's block isn't really a thing. It's more like you're afraid. It's like that if you ever study psychology where they talk about fear of the audience, that's what stops you getting ideas. You're afraid of the audience because you judge your ideas. So I want to do a series of videos talking about getting ideas for writing, how to use your ideas, picking ideas and all that stuff that goes into it. So this first video in this series is talking about just brainstorming in general. Like I'm probably going to do another video on brainstorming, but kind of a more direct approach of brainstorming. So this is just some general tips for brainstorming, and probably one I use when I need a completely new idea to go with. If you have any questions or any top things you want me to cover with regards to ideas for novels and short stories or whatever you're working on, put it down in the comments and I'll see if I can answer the question, or even make a video if it's a big enough thing to talk about ideas, and hopefully, or I may even cover it. But yeah, go talk to me about your struggles with ideas for stories. So I'm not sure exactly how many videos will be in this series. 4, maybe 5, we'll see how we go. I did have quite a few planned out, and then I realised that some of them were similar, so I've kind of like pushed them together. It just seemed to make more sense. So this one is just going to be talking about a few tips on brainstorming, and these tips that I talk about, these are brainstorming methods that work for me. So there are hundreds, thousands of ways you can brainstorm, and feel free to share them, because my ways of brainstorming might not work for you and might not work for someone else, but your way of brainstorming might click with somebody else, and this is all about sharing knowledge with each other. So go ahead, share them down below. Come join my little Facebook group, share them in there, tell me your tips. So I'm going to talk about ideas. So what kind of idea are you looking for is a big question. Are you looking for something that is written to market that you can sell? Are you looking for something that's going to make you a lot of money, or are you looking for something that's going to make you feel passionate? And for me, mine tend to be ones that make me feel passionate. I'm not someone who can do the just write because that's the in-trend genre, and writing to market is a whole topic on its own, but people think writing to market is writing to a trend, and it's not. It's writing. So for example, if you love paranormal romance, to write to market you need to have all the tropes of paranormal romance in there, and so paranormal romance might not be what's trending at the time, but you need to write to the market of paranormal romance. So this is what I'm kind of talking about, is finding something that you're passionate about, and that for me is the kind of idea I'm looking for. I'm looking for this kind of idea when I'm searching for an idea that lights me on fire inside, makes me feel excited, has me running to the notebook and scribbling furiously, has it that I can't stop thinking about it, won't leave me alone. So my first tip in this is to just allow the ideas to come to you, no matter what they are. And you will be surprised, or maybe not, how many ideas come and we throw them away because we judge them. And that's what I'm asking you to do here. Don't judge them. So I like Elizabeth Gilbert's book Big Magic, and she talks of ideas, and when I was reading it I got the idea of they're kind of like ethereal butterflies that come to people, and like they bounce from person to person, looking for somebody to birth them and bring them into the world. And you see this a lot with films. Like, have you ever noticed that you'll get the same kind of film that will come out and they'll be released like almost together, almost as if they talked and came up with their own idea? Well, I'm sure that might happen sometimes, but I don't know. For example, Armageddon and Deep Impact came out at the same time, and they are both movies about a meteor hitting the earth, and one is about them going to try and stop the meteor while it's in space and blow it up, and the other is about more focused on the people on Earth and their survival. And so what Elizabeth Gilbert talks about is that ideas come to people, and 10 people can have the same ideas, but you would not get 10 stories the same. And so these stories want to be born. So what I'm asking you is, when you get an idea and you think either it's been already done or it's rubbish, or nobody's going to like it, stop judging it in these ways. It doesn't matter if it's already been done. It doesn't matter if you think nobody's going to like it. And it doesn't matter if it is the dumbest idea you have ever heard. I want you to write those down, because while that might be true, allowing these ideas to come to you might springboard you to a better idea. So you could have an idea for a story and go, no, I don't like that. But if you was to write it down and you're like, no, that doesn't hit the spot, and then your brain goes, yeah, but what about if we did it this way? That might come up with the better idea, if you get what I'm saying. So what I like to do is, if I'm just doing this, and this is the very basic way of just like writing down ideas, is I will stick some music on, shut myself off somewhere, even go to like Starbucks, sit with a piece of paper and just scribble away at ideas and just let them come, and just let them kind of catapult me into like a rabbit hole of ideas. And this leads me to tip 2, is an ideas notebook. Now, some people believe in these, some don't. Not everyone likes the idea of an ideas notebook. I know Stephen King talks about having a notebook of ideas is a great way to immortalize bad ideas, and if you have a really good idea, it will bug you until you have written it, whereas the bad ideas will fall away. And I get that. I've had ideas that have stayed with me for ages and driven me nuts until I've written them, and I've had ideas that I've forgotten, but at the time I thought they were great ideas, but I can't remember what they are, and maybe they were really bad ideas. I don't know. It depends on your school of thought. James Patterson, on the other hand, does have notebooks with ideas in them. I was listening to him and he says he just has notebooks filled with ideas, many of which will never see the light of day because they're just there, and that's fine because they will go to somebody else to write them. But he, you know, if you're looking for an idea, flip through it, because this might spark your imagination onto the idea you actually need to get to. So try keeping track of your ideas, put them in a notebook and put them somewhere. This is also something Ray Bradbury talks about in an ideas notebook that he wrote, because I mean he's died now, hasn't he? But if you read Zen in the Art of Writing, he talks a lot about making a list of nouns, and that kind of springboards his idea. Another thing I like doing is taking 4 sheets of paper, and in the centre of them one of them write the word I love, another one I hate, I fear, and objects. And I like to just sit and fill those in and see what comes up in those. So for example, I don't know, if you have a sheet of paper, you put the word objects, I might write mirror and my mother's chipped vase, or my grandmother's medicine box. And they don't have to be real things, like maybe my grandmother didn't have a medicine box and that's totally fine, but it doesn't matter, just like write it. And for example, under I fear, I could put spiders, because they're disgusting, heights, the dark, losing a loved one, anything that like evokes fear into you. You don't have to necessarily be scared of it, but you know, like clowns or whatever, and just fill these in and see what comes. And this actually leads me to my next, which is play the what if game. So you've got these lists that you've created on these sheets of paper. So say I took spider from the I fear, and my mother had this trinket box that was chipped, but she'd kept it and it was her favourite thing. I don't know, maybe she died, and characters cleaning out the house, finds this trinket, opens it, and there's a spider inside it, except this spider is purple and it clearly wants the character to follow it somewhere. You know, what if? So do this with, look at those words on these sheets of paper, tie these 2 brainstorming methods together and ask yourself what if, and see where it takes you. But playing the what if game is a fantastic game, and you can do it from prompts to springboard you. Like using those sheets of paper are just prompts, but you can use many other prompts. And if you look at big famous books out there, like It by Stephen King, what if there was a clown terrorizing and eating children? Harry Potter, what if a boy found out that he was really a wizard? Lord of the Rings, what if there was a powerful ring that was discovered that needed to be destroyed? Jaws, what if there was a killer shark in the water at a popular beach? I recently binge watched Firefly Lane, and you can see the what if on that is, what if two completely opposite girls became best friends? You know, you've got the popular girl, she's beautiful, all the boys like turn their heads when she walks past, but she's got the druggy mum, she's got the not very good childhood, mum's in jail and stuff like that, and then you've got the very boring girl, they even put these big glasses on her, no fashion sense, completely like lame when it comes to boys, but she's got the perfect family, you know, the two parents, the brother, the nice little house, and they become best friends. And the series like follows 3 stages of their life: their childhood, their kind of like college, uni years, and now. And it's a great series, but that is what if two totally opposite people were best friends. Breaking Bad. What if a chemistry teacher found out he had terminal cancer and needed a way to support his family after he died? Superman. What if a farmer found an alien boy and raised him as a human? And the thing is, with this what if game, you can take any of these stories and do them yourself. Like, and if you think that's copying, it's not, as long as you're not actually copying, that is. So for example, take Harry Potter. A boy finds out he's a wizard, right? How many Academy books are there out there? Just have a look on the likes of Amazon or any retailer. There's like the Supernatural Academy, the Zodiac Academy, you know, they're 2 of the big ones that I can think of. And they are characters finding out that they are part of this secret world. I think the Zodiac Academy, it's like Fae, maybe. I only read the first book. And so it's, you know, what if character finds out they're really this? That is what Harry Potter is. So you can take that basic idea from a popular story and turn it into your own. So you've got Jaws. What if this shark is terrorizing the waters? So you can have what if this insert kind of monster is terrorizing this area. So you've got what if this ghost is haunting this house. It is the same idea as Jaws, but it's a different story, if you know what I mean. So have a look at popular what if things and try and see how you can do them in your own way. And again, we'll go back to the Armageddon and Deep Impact. Their story is, what if a meteor was headed to collide with Earth and it was going to destroy the planet? Those films are completely different. In Armageddon, if you've never seen it, you've got Bruce Willis. He works on like the oil rigs, he's a digger, and they're going to take the rigs up to space, dig into the meteor, plant a bomb and blow it up. That's the idea of that story. Deep Impact, they try to blow up something similar, but it focuses more on the people on Earth, and it follows a few characters and how are they going to survive these meteors or this meteor hitting Earth. How are humans and the world going to carry on and survive this? It's the same what if story. What if a meteor hits the Earth, but they have gone off in 2 totally different directions. Find a partner. So this is a good one if you have someone, another writer, a spouse, a friend, somebody who you can play the what if game with, and it can be a lot of fun. You can just throw what ifs at each other all the time and see where it goes, because it might go somewhere completely weird and strange, and let it. It's a lot of fun. And the last one is rapid fire. So I like to set a timer for 20 minutes, and it's probably similar to the what if game, and this can be fun by yourself or fun with others, but it is literally sitting down. And I can even start with an idea of a story that is already on there, but this one probably is more genre based. So having an idea of what you want to write, and most of us do have an idea of what they want to write. For example, I am writing a British crime story at the moment called Jigsaw Girl, and I did this rapid fire thing for the victim. So you know in what kind of story you're writing. If you're writing urban fantasy, you probably need a supernatural kind of character. If you're writing paranormal, you probably need a vampire or a werewolf or something like that. If you're writing an academy book, you're going to need like a school and rules. If you're writing a romance, you're going to need a couple that are meeting. You know what kind of story you're going to write, so pick the thing that you know you need, that has to be there, which is usually a type of character, and then play rapid fire with that character. So I knew I needed a victim, so I decided that she was going to be female, she was going to be PhD level student, so she's going to be in her mid-early 20s. And then I rapid fired things about her life, her friends, how she died, what she was like as a person, her interests, her hobbies, the things that made her sad, the things that made her happy. And not all these will be included in my story, but what these gave me was a solid way for the crime to come about in her life, because she has so many aspects to her, which is actually why it's called Jigsaw Girl. But she's a PhD student, she's got a clinical psychology placement, she's in her final year, she's about to become a doctor. And then I gave gave her a traumatic past. So she's got the druggy mother, she's got the little sister she looks after, her father has died. And I gave her all these things, and what these did is these grew the idea of my story, because for a crime story, the detective or whoever is investigating the crime has to go through all this mud of victim, and through that came the ideas. Because I had all these parts of her life that I'd rapid fired, it brought in other characters. So she's got a boyfriend, she's got an employer, she's got a teacher, she's got best friends. And so if you pick something of the story you are writing and rapid fire, so for example, if you want to write a paranormal romance, okay, most paranormal romances usually have a human and a supernatural being. So it can, we'll go with the basic human and vampire, okay? And so you're going to put that human and vampire. Who is the vampire? How old is he? How did he become a vampire? Or she? Depends on which way. We're just going to say he for the story. What are they like personality-wise? What was their human life? What are they like now? Are they powerful? Are they just a minion? How do they meet this person? Were they saving the human? Were they trying to kill the human? Who is this human? Are they a vampire hunter? Well, that creates conflict. And you know, and I literally just rapid fired that with you, but you can see how when you start rapid firing things, one thing leads to another. And this is probably my favourite way of brainstorming. So set a 20-minute timer, do this by yourself or with somebody else. Note down what you're trying to get. So are you trying to get a character? Are you trying to get the plot? And just rapid fire and let it take you. Don't think about it. Don't judge it. Just let one thing lead to the next, lead to the next. And it, you know, you might start off with a vampire, and then by the time you get to the end of your 20 minutes, you know, it could start with a 300-year-old male vampire, and by the time you get to the end of your 20 minutes, you've got a female werewolf. And that's fine, because that's just how it went and how it works. And yeah, so those are my tips for just general brainstorming. I'm going to do more videos on brainstorming on different specific things, but this is just like to generally get ideas that you want just to start you off, because the big ideas start from little ideas. So I hope this helped, and I hope that it gave you some good tips to generate ideas for yourself. And as I said, these are just things that work for me. You might have more ideas, and if you are, come and share them in the Facebook group. Share them down in the comments. If you're stuck on anything, you know, put that in the comments, or throw me an email, or message me on social media. I don't mind. Contact me in some way. I love hearing from people and just chatting. I love writing. So yeah, have some fun with brainstorming, and good luck. And I am going to go now and write. So have a lovely day whatever you're doing. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel, give the video a like, and hit that notification bell. And I will see you next time. Bye.